Marshmallow Fanboy back with another review, this time of McFarlane Collector's Edition, Superman, Mr. Terrific, the Simon Baz Green Lantern, and Grid from Forever Evil. So I'm starting with these in the package. I got them all as a set, and the reason that I got them as a set was that the Christopher Reeve Superman sold out so fast that I wasn't able to get him. Not only that, but the case that he was being sold in was sold out for the platinum figure, I'm guessing. So I got the set. And the set had 3 figures that I wanted. It had Superman and Mr. Terrific and the Simon Baz form of Green Lantern. But I didn't want Grid particularly. Wasn't super excited about that one. But I thought to get a hold of this figure was the real prize. So I go ahead and get it. Now these two characters I paired together because they're in the new Superman movie together, at least in the trailer. Mr. Terrific is there. And of course we've heard a little bit that he was going to show up. But also, I don't remember if we got any other JSA figures so far. I know that they announced a Wildcat figure for Target exclusive. And we're getting a Power Girl a little bit later. But I'm not sure who else we've gotten. But hopefully this one won't be the last. And hopefully we'll be getting more JSA figures. But of course it has the usual stuff on the sides. Nice silvery, shiny stuff. No indication of what's in the wave. Because of course it could be a whole case of Mr. Terrific. In which case there really isn't anything in the wave. Really nice picture. Christopher Reeve Superman. Be nice to really cut out. That could be like a kind of a miniature poster that you put on your wall. Just really classic and really nice. Of course, it has the Superman the movie right there, and Superman on the side. Superman the movie right on the side too. Just really cool. I'm most excited about that one. And these two I paired together because, believe it or not, they have something in common. While Grid is the Forever Evil version of Cyborg that's been corrupted by Cyborg's own program, which is unfortunate, and he sort of teams up with the crime syndicate. Simon Baz has a platinum version that is the Forever Evil version of him too. That is the crime syndicate Green Lantern. And Simon Baz in the comics first appeared with sort of a Colt 45. It was he had a holster on his hip. Of course, you're not going to get that in a McFarlane package, but I think I found a way around it. In accessory pack 3, there is something that kind of looks like a Colt 45 or very close, and it's green and black, so it's kind of perfect. I'm going to pair it with him. But he's also got a couple constructs: glove, hammer, sort of a drill piece. I don't know if that drill connects to maybe his hand. We'll see. And of course, the power battery. And he's got different expressions, different face plates, which, well, I can't see the expressions from here. But the design of the costume is really cool. Very true to the comic book. Love everything about that, including the mask and everything. It feels like, I mean, it might not be exact to what it was in the comics, but it's close enough that even without the head, I would have recognized that as Simon Baz. So again, everything the same as the others, except for of course, the picture on the back has the cool picture of him with the ring. And then Grid from Forever Evil is just massive. He's enormous. That visage is just super sinister. 3, 2, 1. The face, the details in the chest of like having the kind of battery. Oh, I think that's just the strap that holds him on. I don't think that's molded. So never mind. But there is the red tip of the cannon that shows like the heat of being fired, which is really cool. This is a really nice touch. He's massive. We're probably lucky he didn't come as a mega fig. The usual stuff, but including the really cool picture on his back, on the back of the package rather. And this is Grid from Forever Evil. So we're building out our crime syndicate. Maybe not classic crime syndicate. I did miss the Superman versus Ultraman that had the Atomica. And that's a bummer. I'd like to have Atomica, but I don't want to pay for a double pack of figures that I already have to get a tiny Atomica. So hopefully maybe somebody's selling Atomica on eBay right now, and I'm missing that. So these figures look fantastic in the package as always, but how about we take them out and see what we think? Okay, now that they're out of the box, let's take a closer look at all of these figures. Let's start with the cards. Grid came with the standard card on a tower, and the rest of them did not. This one is Green Lantern Simon Baz's. This one is Mr. Terrific's card, and this one is, of course, Superman's. Very, very cool. Now let's go over the accessories that they're not already holding in their hand. Let's start with Green Lanterns. Green Lantern has two alternate portraits. The one that he has is sort of a teeth gritting one, so I'm not sure what the difference between this one. That one looks maybe more smiley, and this one looks more just contemplative, like he's thinking about stuff and not reacting. There's a drill that slips right over his hand. He's got one of those sort of pieces in his hand right now. A hammer, which I imagine he can hold with the sort of gun hand that he has. And, of course, a standard Green Lantern lantern, which, gosh, I think these things are just too big for... I don't think they're in scale. They look just enormous, but they could absolutely be in scale. This is Grid's only accessory, which is the figure stand, which he doesn't need because his feet are enormous. Mr. Terrific comes with a hand that's holding a T-sphere and also two alternate portraits, one of him grimacing a little bit and one of him outright screaming, which is very cool. The one that I put on him, the one that came with him, actually, I left that one on, is one that's very calm. As for Superman, the only thing that I can figure out between the heads isn't the expression, it's just straight up the hair. I think the first one, the spit curl, is way up on his forehead, and this one is sort of coming down to his eyebrow. So I'm not sure. I've heard people say like this is the evil Superman from one of the movies. I can't get behind it. It could be that the first hairstyle was the head that comes with it, and then maybe in subsequent movies this was the hair of those movies. But that's the only thing I can figure. I don't have a good solid answer. So on him I have sort of a partially open hand, kind of a grabby hand. He has an extra grabby hand over here. The other one is sort of a flight hand that doesn't have the fingers all together, that have the fingers spread out. He only has one of those, but he has two flight hands, no fingers spread out, two fists over here, one pointer hand, one sort of either grabbing hand or gesturing hand, and one with either kryptonite or maybe that's a shard of the Fortress of Solitude that he uses to throw into the ice to build it in the first place. Now that that's out of the way, let's go over them. Let's start with Mr. Terrific, who comes with this shield that's created by a T-sphere right here in the middle. Has a clip here that goes just right on his arm and clips right in there. He also comes with these T-spheres. They had a little bit of kind of a pin right here, but I couldn't find a place to put that in. The only thing I could think of was maybe he was wielding it. But the T-spheres are very cool. Of course, the jacket is real. Feels like, I mean, it's pleather. Obviously, it's not real leather. or anything, but it's really nice. It's an actual soft good, and it looks really good on him. I mean, depending on what position you have him in, the jacket doesn't hang correctly, but look at that, man. That jacket is super cool, and him without his jacket would just look as cool, if not cooler. I have him on the action figure stand for my ease. I couldn't find a comfortable position to put him in where he stood well, so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to cheat and put him on the action figure stand. But that is Mr. Terrific. While I wasn't a big fan of Grid, and I wasn't a big fan of the Forever Evil storyline, this guy is enormous. He's almost taller than Superman on a flight stand. Almost. He's enormous. He's super cool. He's got I think whatever's firing from there is the glow of it is red, or it's heating up so much, but I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure what all of the things are, but just look at the paint work on the face. So cool. Just an amazing sculpt. Just an amazing job on the figure in general. So much stuff going on with this one. Lots of little details everywhere. It's got great articulation. These things are sharp. That's why they're not made for kids. Also, this one ruins the number scheme. I think this wave started with a 25, 26, 27, and then Grid was 29. And the one that was 28 was Lightning Lad. So I don't know if he was ever meant for this wave, or they were like, I don't know what to do. Do we mega fig him? I don't know. But he is an awesome giant piece of plastic for the price point. I just don't know if maybe he was meant to be a mega fig or in some different wave, or maybe he was the Build-A-Figure of this wave. Maybe they thought, well, we'll throw 4 figures together and you'll be able to build the build Grid, and that didn't work out, so they sold him separate. Whatever it is, he's enormous, he's awesome, and he's in my collection. As for Simon Baz Green Lantern, I put the fist on him, comes right off, just slips right over. And like I said originally, in the comic book he came with the Colt, so I reunited him with something that looked very similar. That's from the McFarlane Accessories Pack 3. This is very cool. It looks really cool. Just looks like this is glowing, and that the lines are kind of glowing in neon energy. Like it looks like kind of like Big Time Spider-Man, where it's supposed to be like kind of Tron, like with all the piping and everything. Just looks really cool. It's just a really cool point of difference. There is no other Green Lantern that wears anything like that. So it's obviously Simon Baz there. It's obviously Simon Baz under the mask. It's obviously his uniform. It's super cool. And then there's the figure that brought me to the party in the first place. The figure that made me get all of the other figures right away. The figure that I needed the most. The Christopher Reeve's version of Superman. I know that we've gotten some Christopher Reeve versions of Superman in the past. I know NECA has done one. I know that it's been a hot toy. I know that more recently, I think it was a Mezco 112 collective figure, if I'm not mistaken. And I know it's come in other forms. I know that DC did a DC Multiverse 3 3/4 inch line, and that had a Christopher Reeve Superman. But a McFarlane Superman right after we got a Adam West Batman is just too cool. It's just too cool that he's going through the archive and he's digging this stuff out while he's still taking big swings with stuff like Captain Carrot and Grid. Grid would be a tough sell, but he was like, man, Grid, he's awesome. And I agree. Superman has a wired cape. Looks just classic. The colors are perfect. And the sculpt is really, really good. The S logo on the back of the cape is amazing. The wired cape gives it so much life. You can do so much with it. I haven't locked the flight stand in place, so there's still little play in it for me. But when you lock that into place, you don't get that wiggle. I get that wiggle because I'm going to take that back apart and store it. But right now, I've got it out where I can manipulate it a little bit. It's just a really great figure. I really like it. I'm happy to have it. I'm happy to have that in the Adam West Batman. I'm happy to go into the archives and get more of these kinds of things. I'd love to have like a Lois and a Jimmy from that first Superman. I'd love to get so much stuff from all of these movies. Hopefully Todd has the license for a very, very long time, because he's releasing something like 80 figures every 5 or 10 minutes. And hopefully you can get a hold of this once the fervor has passed, and maybe people can get a hold of it a little bit better. Maybe you can get yours, or maybe you already did. And if you already did, congratulations. It's an awesome figure. But it sold out immediately on McFarlaneToyStore.com. It sold out immediately in the case, where you could get 5 of this in one platinum figure. Those were gone instantly. It was an amazing order. I missed. So I had to get the set, and I thought the only thing I didn't want was grid. It's not a bad deal for just getting one figure that I didn't want. And then it turns out I needed him for the Crime Syndicate anyway. So if you can get a hold of him, get a hold of him. And until next time, enjoy your toys.